All right, welcome to your personalized deep dive. Ready to jump in?
Let's do it.
Awesome. So today we're tackling Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Classic.
It's a classic, right, by Robert Kiyosaki. And it's a classic for a reason.
Absolutely.
But, full disclosure, it can be a bit dense at times.
It's a lot to take in.
Right. So we're here to kind of help you cut through the clutter, get right to the good stuff.
Yeah, pull out those golden nuggets.
Those aha moments.
Exactly.
And, hopefully leave you with some food for thought.
Food for thought.
Right. So starting off, I think one of the big things Kiyosaki hits on is financial education. What's your take on that? What does he really mean by that?
He's talking about like a fundamental shift.
Okay.
Understanding how money actually works, not just...
Not just like balancing a checkbook.
Exactly. It's more than that.
Yeah.
It's like the mechanics of money, How do you make it work for you instead of the other way around?
So it's deeper than don't spend more than you earn, right? It's about how to use money as a tool.
Right. It's about like being in the driver's seat, taking control.
Taking control.
And one thing that really stood out to me was how Kiyosaki's rich dad really pushed him to learn through experiences, even failures, not just theory.
So like real world stuff.
Exactly.
Not just book smarts.
Right. Like he made him work for free at his convenience store, not about the wages.
Oh, wow.
It was about seeing how a business works from the inside out.
So it's about getting your hands dirty a little bit.
Exactly.
Learning by doing.
Learn by doing.
Yeah. Okay, so that ties into another thing, right?
Yeah.
This idea of shifting your mindset. Instead of saying, I can't afford it, he wants you to ask,
How can I afford it?
how can I afford it? I like that. It's going from limitation to possibility.
Yeah, being proactive, right?
Totally.
Instead of reactive.
Totally. Okay, so we've got financial education. We've got this proactive mindset. What else is crucial for building wealth, according to Kiyosaki?
Well, this is where his famous assets versus liabilities concept comes in.
Ooh, yeah, I've heard about this. Assets good, liabilities bad.
Yeah.
But break it down for me. What's the core idea?
He defines an asset as something that puts money in your pocket. Liability takes it out.
Okay.
And here's the thing. He challenges what we traditionally think of as assets.
Yeah, like a house.
Exactly. Most people think of their house as an asset, but he says it's often a liability.
Right, because you're paying the mortgage, the taxes, repairs.
Exactly. It's draining your resources.
So like a rental property that makes you money, that would be an asset in his view.
Right.
Got it. What about like investing in your education? Would that be an asset or a liability?
That's a great question, and it leads us to another point he makes. Working to learn, not just for a paycheck.
Interesting. So it's not just about getting any degree. It's about being strategic with what you learn.
Exactly. He says, early in your career, focus on valuable skills, even if it means taking a lower-paying job at first.
So it's about the long game.
The long game, yeah.
Prioritizing growth potential.
Exactly.
Interesting. And that feels really relevant now with the gig economy, needing diverse skills.
It's all about being adaptable.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So we've got financial education, mindset, assets versus liabilities, working to learn. What else does he highlight for financial success?
Overcoming fear. He talks a lot about fear.
Fear, huh? I bet his rich dad had some interesting thoughts on that.
Oh, yeah. He believed fear, especially fear of failure, holds people back.
Yeah, I can see that. It holds everyone back to some degree.
Absolutely.
So what was his advice? Just jump in head first.
Not exactly. He was more about analyzing your fears,
Okay.
understanding where they come from,
Right.
and then coming up with strategies to overcome them.
So not about being fearless, but understanding and managing your fears.
Exactly. He believed you could turn fear into motivation.
That's a much more empowering way to look at it. So we're not talking about reckless risks, but calculated ones.
Right, being strategic.
Okay, so we've got the mindset, the learning, managing those fears. What else?
Well, this is where it gets a bit controversial. He talks about taxes and corporations.
Hold on. We're not talking about anything illegal, right?
No, not at all. He's talking about using the system strategically
Okay.
to your advantage.
So financial literacy is a form of power.
Exactly. He gives examples of how forming a corporation can offer tax benefits, protections that individuals don't have.
Interesting. So it's not about cheating the system. It's about understanding it.
Right. Understanding the nuances.
Okay, so we've covered financial education, mindset, assets, working to learn, fear, corporations, and taxes. Woof, that's a lot already.
Yeah, we're just getting started, but those are some of his big ideas.
Okay, good foundation. Now let's dig a little deeper. Kiyosaki talks about the rich inventing money. What's that about? sounds kind of mystical.
It does, but it's actually very practical.
Okay.
He's talking about seeing opportunities that others miss and acting on them.
So it's about having a vision and the guts to go for it.
Exactly. He says, wealthy people think differently about money. They see potential where others see limitations.
So it's that mindset again, training yourself to spot those opportunities.
Right. And it all ties back to financial education, building that intelligence.
Okay, so it's not just about working hard. It's about working smart, understanding the game.
Exactly. Being proactive, creating wealth, not just consuming it.
I like that. Okay, so
Yeah.
far so good, right? Lots of good insights there.
Yeah, definitely.
But Rich Dad, Poor Dad, it's not all just concepts.
Right.
He gives some concrete advice, too. Like, remember, he's big on real estate.
Yeah, that's one of the areas where things get a little tricky.
Yeah.
Times have changed, you know?
The market's different now.
Totally. Back
Yeah.
then, it was a different landscape. So real estate can still be a good thing, but just blindly following what he said back then, probably not the best idea.
Right, so it's got to be adapted to today's world.
Absolutely. Do your research.
Right, be smart about it.
Don't just take anything at face value. Right.
Yeah, exactly. And it goes back to that learning thing.
Continuous learning.
Yeah.
Kiyosaki talks about that a lot.
Yeah, it makes sense. The world's changing all the time. You got to keep up.
It's like what worked then might not work now.
Exactly.
Right.
Totally. Now, another thing, entrepreneurship. He's big on that, too.
Yeah, the be your own boss thing.
Yeah. But is that really for everyone?
That's the question. Not everyone's wired that way.
Right. It takes a certain kind of personality.
Yeah, definitely. Risk tolerance.
Right. Not everyone's comfortable with that uncertainty.
Exactly. And sometimes it takes money to make money, right?
Yeah. Resources, connections.
Not everyone has that.
Right. So that raises the question, like, are his ideas?
Universal.
Yeah. Do they work for everyone, or is it more for people who already have a head start?
Right. It's a good question.
Yeah. Because, I mean, his core message, financial literacy, taking control, building assets, that's good for anyone.
I agree. Knowing how money works, that's essential.
No matter who you are. But, the reality is some people face bigger hurdles.
System issues.
Like access to good education, affordable housing, those things matter.
They do. They play a huge role.
So it's a mixed bag. Like, his book's got great points, but got to remember the bigger picture, too.
Yeah. It's not that simple.
Right. Not a simple equation.
But you got to give him credit. He got people talking about money.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Challenge the way people think about it.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so we've talked real estate, entrepreneurship, how it all fits in today's world. What else stands out to you from the book?
One thing that often gets missed is mentors. He talks a lot about finding mentors.
Oh, yeah, finding people to guide you.
Yeah, surrounding yourself with success, people who've been there, done that.
It's like having a map, right?
Exactly. You
Yeah.
learn from their experience, their mistakes, too.
And their connections.
Their network, yeah. He really encourages that, Find those mentors.
Yeah, it makes sense. Don't try to reinvent the wheel.
Right, learn from the best. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so we've got financial education, mindset, assets, working to learn, facing fear, corporations, taxes, mentors,
Yeah.
anything else.
Whoa, one big one.
Yeah.
Pay yourself first.
Ooh, yeah. Remember, what was that again?
Saving,
Yeah.
investing, before anything else.
Right. Most people do it the other way around,
Exactly. Bills first, then whatever's left, maybe saved.
which is backwards.
Kiyosaki says, flip that script.
Okay.
Savings, investments, top priority.
Like it's a bill.
Exactly. Treat it like that. Make it a habit.
Okay, pay yourself first. Got it. Now, I want to circle back to the corporations and taxes thing.
Yeah.
That stirred up some controversy.
Definitely.
Some people say he's promoting shady stuff.
Yeah. Got to be careful with that. It's important to remember he's talking about legal strategies.
Right, not breaking the law.
Exactly. He's all about financial literacy, empowerment, not about being sneaky or dishonest.
Okay, good clarification. But even so, tax laws, they change all the time.
All the time, yeah.
What might have been okay a while back, who knows now?
Exactly. Got to stay informed.
Right.
Talk to experts.
Tax attorneys, accountants, that sort of thing.
Absolutely. Get the right advice.
So be informed, be proactive, get help when you need it.
Exactly.
Okay, good advice. So we've covered a lot. Financial education, the mindset, assets, real estate, entrepreneurship, mentors, even those tricky taxes. But before we wrap up, I want to hear from you, our listener. What's resonating with you?
Yeah, what's sticking out? What seems most relevant?
And think about this. What's one thing you could actually do?
Put this into action.
Yeah, to apply this stuff to your own life.
Could be something small, setting a budget, starting to save.
Or finding a mentor.
Right.
Or maybe something bigger, like checking out a new investment. Or,
Starting that business you've been dreaming of.
yeah.
Yeah.
The point is, do something.
Take action. Get moving.
Right, because financial freedom, it's not a finish line. It's a journey.
Absolutely. It's about progress. Learning as you go.
Right, making adjustments. And most importantly, knowing what you want.
What does financial freedom look like for you?
Yeah, what's your vision? What are you working towards?
That's where the real power is. It's not just about money, it's about empowerment.
Taking control.
Exactly.
And, even though Rich Dad, Poor Dad, maybe not everything applies perfectly today.
It gets you thinking differently.
Yeah, it challenges the old way of thinking about money.
Makes you question the old assumptions.
Right, and that's a good thing, right? Thinking for yourself.
Absolutely, not just taking things at face value.
Exactly. And realizing there's not just one right way, right? When it comes to, financial success.
So many different paths.
Right. What works for one person?
Might be a disaster for another.
Totally. So it's about finding what works for you.
What fits your life.
Right. Your goals, your values,
Exactly.
and, being open to trying things.
Experimenting a little.
Yeah. Seeing what happens.
Learning as you go.
Exactly. It's a process, right?
Always evolve.
Always evolving. Okay. So that kind of brings us to a big question. Does Rich Dad, Poor Dad, does it give you the whole picture?
That's the question, isn't it?
Right. Like we've talked about some things that maybe it doesn't fully address.
Like those systemic issues we mentioned?
Yeah, those are huge.
And luck. Let's not forget luck.
Right. Sometimes it's just being in the right place at the right time.
Absolutely.
And, not everyone starts with the same resources, the same opportunities.
That's a big factor.
So yeah, the book's got a lot of good stuff.
Great starting point.
But it's one perspective.
One piece of the puzzle.
Exactly. So as we wrap up our deep dive here,
Yeah.
I want to leave you with this. Financial success, it's a journey, it's complex.
Lots of moving parts.
Right. It's education, it's mindset, it's strategy, and yeah, sometimes it's even a little bit of luck.
Definitely.
And there's no magic formula.
No one size fits all.
Right. What works for someone else might not work for you.
Got to find your own way.
Exactly. But the biggest thing, the most important thing.
What is it?
Financial literacy, that's powerful.
Empowering.
When you understand money,
how it works.
you can make better choices.
Control your future?
Exactly. So to our listener, keep exploring these ideas.
Read the book for yourself.
Form your own opinions, and most importantly, take action.
Even if it's a small step.
Start that budget.
Open that savings account.
Find a mentor.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes, just get started.
Get moving.
Because this is your journey,
Your financial future.
and we're here to help you along the way.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll catch you next time for another fascinating exploration.